If Raised by Wolves was on HBO and not just HBO Max, would it be a Game of Thrones level success? I think it would be. Please watch this show. The HBO and HBO Max subscriber numbers are combined, so we don't really know how many people are confined to HBO Max, but we do know those are the only people who can watch Raised by Wolves. So hopefully those numbers, and again, we don't know for sure, but hopefully they're growing. Man, this is a good show. So HBO Max debuted in May 2020, at the very start of the pandemic, and one of the earliest originals on the service was Raised by Wolves. That came out in September, so HBO Max had been around for a few months at that point, but still it was very behind in subscribership. So when Raised by Wolves started, HBO Max, had also just been birthed. And Raised by Wolves is a brilliant show. Now, trust me, this might sound like a snooze fest, but it's not. It's not only an exploration of religion versus atheism and also human relationships. I tell you, it's fascinating. And I'm not even a big theologist, and I think it's really cool. But it's widely believed by us fans to be a part of the Blade Runner alien android universe. It clearly is, with Ridley Scott behind all three of these projects. Man, it's so clearly the same. Why are they not officially connected? It's still just done by hints and teases. I think it's because they're divided up amongst studios. Cut a deal, damn it. All right, so anyway, the first season played like a 10-hour movie, speaking of movies, with a budget to match. Wow, and since it didn't generate a ton of chatter, those of us who fell in love with the show were relieved, when it got a second season. And that second season finally is here, premiering a week from today, so you have time to watch season 1. And you'll binge it, believe me. But it premieres a week from today, Thursday, February 3rd, with 3 episodes that were given to press like myself in advance, which were really fun to watch because the VFX was not complete. So there was a lot of previs for some scenes, especially wide establishing shots, which made me appreciate all the more how much the cinematography, production, and VFX teams have done to turn South Africa, where the show is filmed, into a very believable alien planet. It feels like they're off-world, but in fact, when you look at the layers, as I was able to do with these not complete episodes, the way they layer in just some alien fruits and some trees over the South African terrain, it's incredibly effective. It's great. Quality-wise, I must warn you, season 2 gets off to a bit of a rocky start. But thankfully, we're talking just the first half of episode 1. I think the show has to find its footing, and we have to get back into it, because it's been a minute. But I'm just telling you that so you don't worry when you start to watch it. Like I did. I was like, oh man, do they not have anything for season 2? Oh, they have stuff for season 2. And I do think that maybe it was partially the previous shots, but it seemed like, it didn't have its footing when it started. I think that's the best way to describe it. Now, what I'm particularly impressed with is how the religion versus atheism discussion has been fleshed out for season 2, at least in the first 3 episodes. While the religion side was the clear villain in season 1, it was like the Crusades, but if atheists fought back, right? Or at least people who didn't have the same religion. But here, the show works out to point out the negatives and pluses of both sides, which is really fascinating considering we're having a similar, the world's been having the same discussion since the beginning, religion versus, people, it's like, the very religious versus like everybody else, right? And it's that discussion, doesn't go away. So this is a way to kind of like explore it in a futuristic setting, which I think maybe take some of the teeth out of it. Not really. It's a very aggressive show. But it's good that that they're giving both sides their pluses and minuses. I think that's very important. Because when we understand each other, the choices that we make and why, that understanding is what's supposed to ultimately, hopefully, bring everyone together, right? As for Raised by Wolves, I think it makes it a more interesting show, and I think it probably expands its appeal. If you felt they were just saying bad stuff about religion in season 1, you'll be delighted to hear that's not the case in season 2. They I gotta tell you, it was like a roast, and they got atheism pretty good too, I have to say. I don't want to give too much. There's a lot of twists. I'm not, I just have one thing I want to touch on because it's just so clever. But you're in for a ride with the first 3 episodes. It's really cool. Like it moves fast. It moves very fast. Season 2, I would say, moves not just faster, but has more ideas and more ground and covers more ground at a rate that eclipses what happened in season 1. And season 1 did a lot. So anyway, they introduce a digital HAL-like God to the atheism side. What an incredibly clever choice to say that the atheists, in a way, have their own God and fall folly to the same problems that creates on the religion side. That was just like, wow, so smart. And it points out that we're not always so different than what we perceive to be the other side. As for everyone's favorite android couple, I'm very pleased to report that both mother and father have excellent storylines. Such good storylines. I still can't believe that no major movie franchise has snapped up Amanda Collin or Abubakar Salim. They're so talented, and their characters they've created here are so unique. I mean, Abubakar Salim is my choice, as you know from my recent video, for a T'Challa variant in the MCU. I mean, the work that they do on this show is incredible. Mother's snake child is brought back into the mix right away, which I really appreciated. I was like, is that just going to be hiding in the background until, the next season finale? And they're like, no. And I was like, awesome. And I really appreciated the twist with that story. You will not see where that story is going. It blew my mind. And again, I only watched 3 episodes. I wonder also, Game of Thrones is week to week, but as people get used to, I'm just not quite sure if Raised by Wolves is the kind of show that is a good one for week to week. I don't know. Let's see. I just hope people watch it. I don't care what has to be done to get them to watch it. Watch it. Mother to me is Ripley levels of cool. So cool. And Collin is selling that. And then father, of course, Abubakar Salim's father is the heart of the show. Speaking of twists, I can't believe how good father's story is. For a moment, I thought he got killed again. They keep making me scared that they're going to kill off father. He's such a great character. I'm like, no, he's fantastic. But he has not just 1, but 2 really exciting storylines for season 2. Right off the bat. Right in the first 3 episodes, and 1 even lets him get in on the action. Oh, he has such a great line about comparing himself to mother. I can't wait for you to hear it. Oh, it was great. It was incredible. It was so good, but at the same time, I was like, don't touch that. Oh, it's so great. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you see the first 3 episodes. That's what happens in these Ridley Scott movies. People touch stuff they're not supposed to touch. Their one surviving human son, Campion, also has some really interesting things going on, including a potential android girlfriend and a Cain and Abel situation. They're definitely doing a play on that, I think. But he looks so much like Kiernan Shipka, it's distracting. In fact, I even paused the screener to go and look up if the actors are related, and they're not. But then why do they have the same face? Anyway, Travis Fimmel with some crazy veins on his face. I think from the trailer he eventually gets rid of them because they are distracting. Well, the religion side of the story needs a charismatic prophet for it to work, and Fimmel really delivers on that front. He has some really compelling arguments to make. And again, I'm won over, and I'm not a religious person, and I was like, I gotta hand it to you. That's a pretty good argument. 2 new characters, played by Peter Christopherson and Jennifer Saying, make very strong impressions in the first 3 episodes as well, and I hope they stick around. In my spoiler review for season 1, don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I will say that I noted, because it only became apparent to me after seeing season 1, so I'm excited to see what observations I have after season 2. But show creator Aaron Guzikowski, who's also the writer on many of these episodes, is clearly using the Bible as the basis for this story, creating a futuristic new story of creation, which of course comments on the original. And I'm very excited to see how he continues that analysis. This is like one of the most intelligent shows ever. And by the way, I just love Ridley Scott's androids. I've loved them in every movie they've been in. I love them here. Taking over for Stanley Kubrick, Scott has overseen as director or as producer some of the most compelling stories of artificial intelligence ever. And also, he's really dominated the space, futuristic genre as well. And Raised by Wolves is no exception to being, at the forefront of the quality of those stories. Wow. Raised by Wolves season 2 is off to such a great start. Oh, I'm so excited to see where the rest of this season goes. It's going to be so great. Again, those first 3 episodes hit HBO Max only a week from today, Thursday, February 3rd, and I'll be sure to do a spoiler review. And again, it's not too late to catch up. There's not a lot on right now. You should watch this show. So good. Talk about prophesizing. Please convert to being a Raised by Wolves fan. All right, share those thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.